What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith, where I bring to you some of the most amazing NFL draft prospects in this year's 2025 NFL draft. And going on 5 years of the show next month, man. Danny is such a special prospect. He is not just your ordinary edge rusher. He's an edge rusher who brings purpose. He's an edge rusher who's versatile, has an arsenal of tools that really any NFL team could take and benefit from. I had the pleasure of interviewing him face to face after the Hula Bowl, so it was really great meeting him. And I was like, man, this guy, he's going to get selected for East West Shrine or Reese Senior Bowl. And I think it was like the day before he got selected for the Reese Senior Bowl and even got a sack out of it, man. Wherever you plug him in, he is going to make plays, and NFL teams love that about him. But today, we're going to get to know the man underneath the helmet. I'm already done talking. Let's get into it. Today's special guest is Danny Striggow. Danny, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Glad to be on the show.
Yes, sir. So blessed to have you on, man. Again, thank you so much. Dude, you've been a busy man, dude. It was Hula Bowl. Did you go to College Gridiron, or was it just Hula?
No, it was Hula Bowl. Came back home, kicked off my training back here in Egan at Training House.
Okay.
Trained for 3.5 weeks, and then Senior Bowl came knocking right before it ended up closing. But yeah, it was a busy week of football there in training. Kind of thought I was gonna get into the grind of training, and got a couple calls and found my way to Mobile, Alabama.
Dude, that is cool, man. I saw a clip of you. You were wrapping your hands. I'm like, oh, this is like the 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. We see the battle about the final battle about to happen. Like, dude, you were just locked and dialed in, man. Dude, it was quite a sight to see, man. Talk to me about your experience between the Hula Bowl and of course the Reese Senior Bowl.
Yeah, the Hula Bowl, it was on my I got an invite, while we were still in the college season. So it was kind of a nice transition into, leaving Minnesota. I knew I wasn't completely done with football following our Duke's Mayo Bowl. Um, but I had a little bit of time to prepare, and it was great to get out there with some competition, play some guys that I hadn't played before, different conferences, just a lot of good football players out there. So that was a really good experience. Unfortunately, we didn't get the nice sunny Florida weather that I was expecting. Leave Minnesota and go down, and it's 35 degrees in Florida. But
Mm-hmm.
um, it was a great experience. And then the Senior Bowl, it was kind of just jump right in. The story's kind of out there now, but I got a call late, and I was there about 12 hours later taping up for practice. So there wasn't a whole lot of thinking going on when I was playing, which is kind of nice. You kind of just fall back on what you know and play ball. But yeah, it was very similar concepts, but different experiences all in all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, I ditto on what you said about the cold weather. My knuckles were purple that day, man. It was so cold. I'm like, dude, I feel for you guys. I was on the sideline and just hearing all the different things going on. I mean, just people. There was an injury that happened. There was a guy pushed me out the way. I don't know if you can say his name. He pukes in the trash can. I'm like, man, this is football, man. Like, guys were really getting after it.
Yeah.
Man, take us from the beginning, man. Where are you originally from? And then my follow up question to that is, when did you first fall in love with the game of football?
Yeah, I'm originally from Long Lake, Minnesota. It's just west of the Twin Cities. Suburbs out there. I went to Orono High School, and I really didn't play football until it wasn't offered at Orono until fourth grade was when tackle football started. So, like just about every other kid, you kind of do the sport circle where you just kind of try everything. So I played soccer for a while. Um, I played baseball for a while. I was going to try lacrosse. Never tried lacrosse, but I was about this close to pulling the pin on it. Um, but yeah, football started tackle football in fourth grade, and kind of kicked off from there. I was a wrestler growing up, so I started wrestling when I was really young, probably 4 or 5 years old, and I did that all the way up until I left for Minnesota in college, and so that was wrestling was my true love growing up, just because it ran in my family. I started so early, and then football came around, and it's like, man, this is really similar to wrestling. Like, you get to go out and be physical, and it's a grueling sport. That's what I loved. I love the physicality. So those two, I played football, baseball, and wrestling all the way up until high school, and then I dropped baseball and started wrestling more. Um, I would wrestle from, you know, November when football ended all the way until July, and then I would put the wrestling shoes away for a couple months and go play football. And it was just that constant cycle. But I really fell in love with football when I got to ninth grade, freshman football. It was when it kind of got real. Youth football is all over the place and
Yeah.
it's fun, but it's like you played 7 or 8 games and you're done. And high school football, like it gets a little bit more serious and people care more. And our high school football team was pretty good when I got into high school, and so it was pretty fun looking up to those older guys and like I want to be like that. And then you know junior year kind of rolled around, and that's when that's when the college opportunities started to take off.
Nice. I love it. I love it, man. Was there a specific moment where you had kind of like a aha moment, or people would say almost like an epiphany? Was there a specific play or game that happened where you said, like, man, I am not your average football player. I'm really freaking good at this, like NFL good. Was there a moment like that for you?
Honestly, no. I always just loved being out there. It wasn't like I would I ever had any thought like that where, NFL, that was always a dream. I mean, it just kind of depends on how long it's a dream for you. And, for some of us, it just happens to be, a dream that gets to keep on, being that dream. Some kids will play football and play for a couple years, and then that NFL dream kind of goes away. Where you know as you get farther and farther along in your football career, if it can keep continuing being your dream, you're in a pretty good spot. And so that's just kind of how I went about it. Is that I kept getting opportunities to where I could keep my NFL dream alive, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't a specific game or a specific play. It was I love playing football and I want to keep playing football until I can't anymore.
I love that. Love that. Growing up, man, I gotta ask. You seem like all around Minnesota guy. Were you a Vikings fan growing up, or?
Believe it or not, I was a Bears fan growing up.
Oh, the rebel. Okay,
My mom
nice.
grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, so I kind of got it from her and my uncle on that side. It just kind of transferred over. So yeah, I grew up rooting for the Bears.
Very cool. Very cool, man. That's awesome. Obviously, any team that selects you, I know you'll be rocking with them. But
Oh
I
yeah.
always like to ask that question. It's a little different for everyone. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I lived in New England for a long time, almost a
Okay.
decade. Dolphins fan, so I was
There you go. Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of kind of going against the grain there. So I
Mhm.
definitely know what that's like. Man, you're a very versatile edge rusher, man. I love watching your tape, dude. You're physical. You have a plethora of different moves that you use as well. Very powerful as well. For people who are not familiar with you, how would you describe the way that you play the game?
The way I like to think of it is all effort all the time. I'm not always going to be the flashiest guy out there, but I'll be one of the physical, one of the most physical guys on the field and always around the ball. Um, if you surround yourself with the ball and you're around the ball, good things will happen. You're going to have an opportunity to make more plays. And so, if you can find yourself around the ball, in the space to where you can make plays on any given play, even if, the ball's not getting run your way or thrown your way, plays are going to happen and you're going to end up in the right spot. So I love being physical. I love being hands on right away. That's the fun part about defensive line is you don't have to wait to go hit somebody, and then just 100 miles an hour all the time.
I love that. I love that. Man, you guys have a lot of really good players going into the draft this year, man. And in the past couple years, had quite a few good players. Man, I had the pleasure of interviewing I'm not sure if he was a teammate of yours, Muhammad Ibrahim. Did you ever know him? The running
Yeah.
back?
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
that guy was such a physical runner. I think he was all-time leading rusher for the Golden
Yep.
Gophers.
Yeah. I
And
played
this
with him
year,
for.
forgive me if I'm slightly off on the name. Was it Lindenberg or Lindstrom or something like that? The
Cody
linebacker?
Lindenberg. Yeah.
Lindenberg,
Lindenberg.
man, he is a really, really good player, man.
Yeah.
Paint a picture to me what those practices were like with those guys.
I mean, offense and defense. I mean, you get to go. You get only so many games. You get 12 guaranteed games throughout the season against other people. But all the other time, it's just compete, 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 and practice. And so with Mo, I mean, the guy he was so low to the ground and ran so hard. It was nice to finally get to game week and be like, all right, go do that to somebody else. And like you'd be with him for whatever 8 or 9 months. You'd be like, all right, finally, like let's throw him out for against other teams. And then Cody, I mean, Cody's I'd like to think he's the smartest guy in the field at all times. You know, the guy he's can fly sideline to sideline. He commands the defense from the linebacker spot. Um, just a heck of a guy off the field too. I love playing with him. I mean, he was an early enroll, but we were the same class, so I've got to spend the last 5 years with him, and I love playing with Cody.
Love it, man. Outside of football, man, what are some of your hobbies?
I love hunting, fishing, really anything outdoors. I love going on the lake. Not too far from Lake Minnetonka here, so
Ooh,
a great lake life around here, and just spending time with my friends and family.
nice, man. I always ask this to hunters because I've always wanted to go. And nobody, I got invited gator hunting at night, and I said no to that. That's a
That sounds
hard
like
no.
fun. I would have said yes
Yeah.
to that.
I, if it was in the daytime, sure, but the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I got this little pontoon boat." I'm like, "I'm not going." But
Yeah, maybe
I've always wanted to go. I've always admired the tenacity of hunters. I got to ask you, man, what's your biggest catch, so to speak?
Well, actually, I haven't deer hunted in a couple of years. It's tough
Mhm.
to pick your weekends to go out during the season. I've got a few does. Um, really, the recent stuff I've been doing is pheasant hunting, bunny
Ooh,
hunting. Me and my brothers have gone out to South Dakota for the pheasant hunting, and brother brings his dog, and that's a whole lot of fun because it's not necessarily. A lot of people think hunting is just sitting in a tree being super quiet, and that's what deer hunting is, but which can
yeah,
be painfully slow at times. But pheasant hunting, you go out, walk the fields, get to watch the dog do a lot of the work, which is pretty cool. And then fishing's fun too. Going up to Canada, fishing there, and fishing around in the lakes here, even ice fishing. That's a lot of fun.
that's cool. That's really cool. Now, hey, man, you're going from hunting does and wild game to hunting quarterbacks. So go figure.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Growing up, man, who are some of your favorite edge rushers and maybe guys that you taking you model your game after?
Really, growing up, I watched a lot of linebackers. So obviously, being a Bears fan, I was a big fan of Brian Urlacher. I had a fat head of him in my room growing up, and then watching Lance Briggs. But then, as I kind of transitioned into being a defensive end, because I played linebacker my first couple years in high school, and then my
Mhm.
junior year, I transitioned to defensive end.
Yeah,
But again, when I started watching ends, it was like Khalil Mack, and now it's guys like the Bosa's and Aiden Hutchinson. I love to watch because I kind of like to mimic kind of his effort. You don't ever watch an Aiden Hutchinson play and be like, man, he took that one off. Like you don't see that.
yeah.
It's just all effort all the time. He's always going 100 miles an hour, and that's the kind of player that I want to be, and that I aspire to be every time I'm on the field.
Love that, man. And hey, it shows. It shows with the results and the type of season you guys had. I mean, you're a very high motor player. Leads me to my next question, man. What motivates you in life? What keeps pushing you forward?
Yeah, a lot of that comes from my friends and my family. It also just comes from it's having something bigger than yourself. And spending 5 years in Minnesota, having that row the boat, and the culture there, it teaches you to play and to live life, for something that's bigger than yourself. And it you don't ever really need a motivational pep talk. Playing for the state of Minnesota, for the name on the front and the name on the back. I know I have an opportunity that a lot of people in this world don't get, and it's only getting smaller and smaller as you progress to the next level. So just being able to be a light for somebody else, yeah, I get to have fun. I get to play a game. This whole thing, aspiring to be an NFL player, like we get to go play a game in front of thousands and thousands of people. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah,
Um, and a lot of people don't get that opportunity. So, if I can go out there and make somebody's day by seeing me on the field, that's what it's all about.
man. I love that, man. I love that. That's awesome, man. Um, Once your name is called and you are selected by a team, man, what are some of your goals year one in the NFL?
Yeah, I wanna find my spot on the roster. I whatever it takes to get on that 53 man. That's what I'm gonna do. I've played special teams throughout college. I've been on every single phase at some point. Sometimes all of them at uh, in the same game, and find a way to add value to a team, to where they see me as a fit for one of those 53 spots. That's the initial goal, and then obviously progress from there.
Love that. Love that. And I always like to ask this question, man, because like for you, I could see you playing in 3-4, 4-3. I could see you playing in multiple schemes, man. And for you to be a part of the Hula Bowl, do your thing there. Reese's Senior Bowl, plug and play, do your thing there. Literally in 12 hours, right? That's that's almost unheard of, man. Some guys do that and they're almost like kind of lost or trying to figure out their way. Like you went out there and you balled out, my friend, at the highest
Thank
level, and then the highest bowl game. That's huge. Do you have a favorite scheme or anything like that you feel that make your skills pop out the most?
I mean, I've played in a 4-3 for 5 years now, and so I'm used to it. But I also think with the things that I did at Minnesota, I can be a versatile player in the league. I'm comfortable dropping into coverage. I'm comfortable playing at linebacker depth just because I've done it for 3 or 4 years. Playing significant reps. So I think I can be useful in a 3-4 and a 4-3. It just really depends on where a team can see me adding the most value. I can put my hand in the dirt. I can play, 2 point, defensive end, weak side, strong side, or I could, maybe play into linebacker depth as well. Just depending on what a team needs.
Love that. And then in what ways do you think that your leadership will take and be able to benefit an NFL team, your leadership and morale?
Yeah, I never like to go into a place and just act like I'm owed something, because I'm the young guy coming in now. I was the old guy at Minnesota, and the younger players would come in, and this guy's been here for 4 years, 5 years. It's not the case anymore. I'm gonna go in and you know let my actions do the talking, initially, because they've got to know that they can trust me on the field before they can trust anything that I say. You could go out and say something to anybody and nobody knows if it's true or not. But I think your work speaks first, and then your actions speak first, and then you can become a vocal leader. And that's how I kind of got to my role in Minnesota. Was I'm going to go in there, work my tail off, and prove to these guys that I belong here. And then as I get after that, after they can trust me on the field, then I can start building trust off the field and building relationships. And then that's how you get really connected as a team.
Love that, man. And then last question of the day. I always love asking this question. What is something you want NFL teams to know about you that perhaps they may not know already?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
I
You can
think
take
with
your time.
me, I don't hide anything. I think what you see is what you get with me. Um, you know, you turn on the film, and what you see and how you see me play and the way I play is exactly, the way I'm going to continue to play. I know, so to speak, my superpower is, how hard I play. It may not be the flashiest. It may not, blow off the screen and, get the most clicks, but, I'll be doing the right things and playing my butt off, 100 miles an hour, all effort, all the time.
Love it. Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2025 NFL draft prospect, Danny Striggow. Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show to share your story. And not only obviously we talk all the fun football stuff, but for people to really get to know you as a person, man. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Anytime. You're always welcome back too, man. And ladies and gentlemen, comment below which team you would like him to take and play for. I know I'm certainly inspired. If you're inspired, be sure to go in the description of this video. I'm gonna have all social media stuff below so you can continue to follow the amazing story of Danny Striggow. Comment below how this interview made you feel, and we'll see you guys next time on The Touchdown with Doug Smith. Thank you for watching another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.